All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Sax here with you on a beautiful Monday morning. Man, spring has officially arrived. The trees are budding outside. The grass is green. I think we're on our third or fourth mow now here in Ohio. You guys probably down the south have been mowing for a while, but living in paradise. But starting to get beautiful and nice. Man, I took the weekend, enjoyed some time with the family, and some time off, and really just enjoyed it, man. But now it's the work day, as I say every week. Part of a coach's job, when we get on the field, it's time to go. It's time to talk about how we're going to run, how much we're going to run, what our goals are, what our objectives are, and so we're going to get into today. So looking forward to spending some time with you guys. We've got some good content, some good information I want to share. As I look at this final expense industry, I'm going to chat with you here for a minute before we get into our topic. As I look at the final expense industry as a whole, I see a lot of companies out there that are trying to get into this business. Some have been doing it for a while. I see people coming and going. Some people have a great presentation, but they have no meat, no substance, And how I know that is in the past, I've seen agents go to some of these companies and then they just fail out, or they realize it was a lie. There's a lot of crap in there. And guys, I'll tell you, people when they start to make real money, they need to value that. And I'm seeing some people here make close to $150,000, $200,000 a year. And I mentioned this, I think, a week or two ago. Don't fall prey to good sales tactics, okay? We need to always look at, is the proof, is it in the pudding? How do people do long term? And what I continually see here long term is I see people like Scott just continuing to make more money every year, year after year after year. And we've got new ones coming up, like, Ryan, for instance, who's going to be sharing later today. And his wife's coming aboard, crushing it. When you see people making it, watch them long term. I forget who it was told me that a long time ago. Says, Tony, watch people long term. Watch where they end up. Watch their lives. And I think, people who have joined me over the years watched me for a good bit before they decided to jump on. That was before they left whatever they were doing and got into insurance. And some of you are doing that right now. Some of you are listening in to this call. You may be checking us out. Maybe you had a friend of yours get into this business, said, hey, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. You're thinking about maybe unplugging from what you're doing and throwing your hat into the final expense game. I want to encourage you to keep looking, because we are, and when I say looking at us, looking at what we're doing, watch the money being made. Hear the stories. Listen to the testimonies on the calls of agents who, were broke and now they're not anymore, who didn't have $1,000 in their account. Now they have 10. Lives are being changed. It makes me so proud, man. Last week was a super strong week. Saw you guys hitting some record numbers, really crushing it. Cannot wait to get into the team numbers today. You guys really lit it on fire. But I'll tell you, we're doing something special. And as I see the newest among us getting better and jumping into management, they're starting to train up some of the best, and it's extremely exciting, And guys, it's very simple. Follow the system. Follow the system. If you do, and the worst thing I see is when agents come and they say, hey, listen, I'm seeing all this success. I'm seeing this person make $200,000. I want to do that. And they come here and they basically come, but they don't emulate. They don't do what we do. They don't get on conference calls. They don't participate in the team activities. They don't join us, You're not going to get the same results. Someone will not be successful if they're not going to plug in. Maybe they're trying to do some other type of insurance. They see the money that final expense agents are making, and they say, well, but I can't get away from these annuities that I've been struggling with for 3 years. I'm not making any money on. Oh, man, but I see Ryan doing 15 sales a week or 10 sales a week, or Tom, crushing it with, I think Tom did 8 sales this week, maybe 10. And guys, what you're doing, if it's not working, maybe you should try what we're doing, because it works. It works. It's a very simple business. It's, go out, see the people, make money, man, build like a building. That's really what I'm going to talk about today is how to get the deal done, how to view your lead card, what to say when you get in the home. the things that you need to mention that are very important. Listen, a lot of times when agents call me and they say, hey, listen, I'm in a slump right now, I'm struggling. There might be a few on the call like that right now, maybe going through a bit of a hitting slump, so to speak, or having a hard time either getting presentations or getting closes, okay? I want to talk to you about the basics of selling a little bit today, the basics of what you need to do to get in the door, the things you can say, all right? Because, we don't get a lot of gimmies in this business. You either get the deal, you either get that signature, that voided check, or you got nothing. You could spend an entire hour with someone, pouring your heart out to them, and not get the deal if you make the littlest mistake. That's why we're so highly paid, because we're highly paid to be precise, to be accurate, to do the presentation correctly, to be on our A game, And if you miss it, I forget who I was talking to, but last week I was speaking to someone regarding a sale they had made, and they were telling me that they would have lost the deal multiple times, sharing here's what would happen, here's what I did here, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's $2,000. I think it was $1,800 that they would have lost had they not gotten that little thing down in the presentation, had they not said it a certain way. And that's what I really want to drive home with you. You can go in the home. You can say a lot of things that make a lot of sense, that sound a lot like the greats, but there's places you can lose it, and it can be because you got flustered, the client got flustered. And so not only do you have to control your own emotions, but you also have to learn to control the client emotions. I can remember a client in Cincinnati, like it was yesterday. This was my territory way back in the day, was in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm sitting with this lady, having a great rapport with her and her husband. And all of a sudden, we're halfway through the phone interview, and she starts rubbing on her legs, like with her hands, and like she's getting sweaty palms. She's like, I gotta go. She's telling the phone interviewer, are we almost done? Like the whole time, and just like having a breakdown right there. And her husband calmed her down, and I tried to calm her down, and we got to the phone interview, got it approved. I mean, like we got done, and she ran out the door, man. It was like that. Like she just couldn't handle dealing with that. That's some clients you run into. It's pretty rare, but it's once in a while. But I got the deal done. Almost lost it multiple times just because the client was a little different. I had to keep on calming the situation down, bringing her back home. So it's just crazy stuff. I could tell you guys some stories of different clients I've ran into over the years, and you guys know what I'm talking about. We see all kinds. So it's very important, though, that we learn how to close the deals and what to say when we're there. So let's talk about the lead, okay? Guys, it gets you in the door. Listen, I don't want any selling at the door. What do I mean by selling? You get there, the client gives you a couple of objections like, really, I thought you were going to mail it to me. And the first thing comes out of your mouth is, well, how much insurance do you have? Or do you have insurance? Or, well, listen, I can give you a quote right here. Or, it's probably only about $30 a month. Or, something along those lines. Well, listen, this was about insurance. Are you looking to buy? All of those are pretty much dead on arrival. If you say any of that, you're done, okay? Because what you're doing is you transitioned from the benefits coordinator who's here to help into I'm an insurance salesman at your door, and I have no power because I'm outside your home, okay? Business doesn't get done on the porch, very rarely. I think I've sold 2 policies in my entire career, maybe 3, standing on the porch, and that was because the client wouldn't let me in the house because it was too nasty, or I wouldn't go in, one or the other. But the majority of business, okay, is done inside the home, okay, preferably kitchen table, but, that's not as important. Important is you have their attention. And you've got to get them in a position where you can ask hard questions, where it's harder for them to say no to you, harder for them to get you out of their home. Listen, what do I tell you every day on these calls? They do not want you in their home until you've had a chance to go through the presentation. The presentation is designed to build value, build need, create the need, develop the need, whatever you want to call it. It's designed to build that so that by the time you ask those questions, now they're like, oh, wow, I do need this. I really do need to think about this. You know what? I might have the wrong kind of coverage. I've got an insurance expert in my home. I need to really ask them some questions about this. It's designed to change their mind, okay? This is why so many times at the door you're going to get, I'm not interested. I don't have money. You're not getting in my bank account. You can talk, but I'm not selling you. Everything that comes out of their mouth. It never bothers me because it's one ear out the other. I know that if I get in there and I talk, they're going to hear something that's going to be an aha moment. So avoid at all cost. I mean at all cost. Even if they're like, yeah, I was looking for insurance, and that's a trick. Let's talk about the trick questions here. They'll say sometimes, and this is where the new agents will get off their game, they'll say, oh, yeah, this was about the insurance. Well, what's it cost? And if you're new, a lot of times you'll say, oh, well, yeah, let me get that for you, right? Well, approximately you're dead on arrival again, because what you just did was you cut your own presentation into pieces and gave them a little tiny sliver of what the cost is without building any value, okay? Building value is extremely important. Listen, these people get stuff all the time in the mail. They're getting AARP brochures, Globe Life brochures, Physicians Mutual brochures. You name it, they're getting it. Let me ask you a question. They see things for $20 a month all the time, $15 a month all the time. Then you show up and tell them, hey, it might be $45, $50 a month. What do you think? They're thinking, that sounds expensive because you haven't built value. You haven't explained the difference to them. It's like going to get an oil change in your car. You can buy the cheapest oil possible, or you can buy some synthetic that's going to last longer, be better for your engine. But if you look at one that says, oh, this is $120 a month or $120 oil change, and this one's $30, people just take the $30. But not all oil is the same. You see what I'm saying? It's different. So it's important we really fight to just get in the door. Keep diverting those questions. When they say something like, oh, that's fantastic, you're looking. Yeah, my job as a senior benefit coordinator is just to sit down and go over a couple things for you. It shouldn't take very long. I've got a lot of people to see today anyways, and I'll get out of your hair. Boom. In the door and out. When you get in, warm up. Very important. And you guys, I'm not going to get into the presentation today, but it's important. You guys know the deal to go through a proper warm-up and get your client talking, because you'll find out. They'll tell you how to sell them. They will tell you how to sell them. Very important you remember that. If you listen to what they say, what's important to them, they'll tell you how to sell them, okay? So really good stuff. So, all right, so lead gets you in the door. It's an excuse, guys. That's all it is. I people all the time say, the people I went and saw, they already had insurance, or they weren't interested, or blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. Listen, the lead is an excuse. There again, in the last few weeks, and I forget because there's so many agents I talk to all the time, like 3 weeks ago, I was talking to someone about the lead, and they said, listen, I showed up the house, and they thought it was something from the government. And I don't know how that is because it says life insurance right on there. But people get confused. A lot of times they'll send back our card and another card. Let me present this to you guys. They'll send back our card and another card. And when they do that, they will think that our card is the one that talked about maybe some health care plan from the government. They get confused. It doesn't matter to me what they think it is. I want to get in there and start talking to them about our final expense plans and how we can help them, okay? So don't argue with them about the door and say, oh, this was about the life. Let them think whatever they want. Get in the door. There again, go through your presentation. Talk about the lead. Sometimes it helps even read the lead back to them to help them jog their memory once you're sitting in the home, okay? You can show it to them. There again, a lead is an excuse, and it also makes them feel obligated. One of the first things I do is I hand them the lead and say, oh, that's your signature right there, isn't it? They feel so obligated because they sent you something. All right? Here's another thing. Your time is valuable. A lot of times you need to use something like, listen, I drove all the way from blank city here to see you today. All right? And that's now, if it's 5 minutes away, may not be very strong. So I might avoid that one. But for most of you, you probably got at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I used to drive 2 hours, so I would say, I drove all the way from Columbus here to see you today, and they're like, oh, really? I says, yeah, listen, it's so important. I get the information out. And there wasn't a phone number on the lead. I loved it. I'm like, it wasn't any phone number. I might have called, but I wasn't able to do that. And I wanted to get you the information. See how I turned that? A lot of people are like, oh, there wasn't a phone number. They're so negative about the lead. Do you know how many people I sold that had blank lead cards? I always love it when agents are like, they'll call me up. Can I get a credit for this lead? I'm like, what's wrong with it? It's blank. I'm like, did you sell it? Yeah, but it's blank. I'm like, you sold it. Don't do that to me, guys, all right? I'm just messing with you this morning, but I've had all kinds of crazy stuff, okay? Listen, you can sell blank lead cards. They may have just been too lazy to fill it out. Who cares? Go see them, all right? Don't get all psychologically messed up and in knots over something like that because you think they're not interested. A lead's a lead. What is it? It's an excuse to get in the door. That is it. Get in the door, figure out what's going on. There again, doesn't matter what they say, what they want, what they think they know. I'm getting in the door. I'm going to find out what they have. You know how many people told me they're not interested, their insurance poor? I don't know why I sent that back, but I'll let you talk. Okay? Get in the door, find out they got a loan on their policy. They thought they had $15,000, now they only have $11,000. Oh my gosh, we can help them out. Really help them out. Kissing me and thanking me before I leave, telling me to bring the family over for barbecue some afternoon on a Saturday. It's happening more times than I can remember. It does not matter. Lead is an excuse to get in the door. I cannot drive that home enough, all right? Be aggressive with it, guys. You got to know here to be aggressive, and that's true. You know, I would say that you've got really one shot. And those of you who are seasoned will know what I'm talking about. How many of you guys have gone to the door, you weren't aggressive, set an appointment, trying to be nice, oh, okay, I'll come back, and then you come back and you know they're inside and they won't come to the door. They won't. And some of you might say, well, Tony, you're really mean, man. You're aggressive. You're a sales guy. You're like that typical sales guy that nobody wants to talk to. No, I'm actually pretty easy when I'm selling people. But I just learned that you can ask a few hard-hitting questions or say a few things to get in the door that first day if you have a sense of urgency that aren't super high pressure, but they'll get you in the door, okay? And when you get in there, you've got your opportunity. But if you leave, now the client's in control. Let me ask you a question. Who's in control when you leave? They are, because they've set the time for you to come back. They can choose not to be there now. They can choose not to open their door now. They know who you are now. I never even give my business card when I do that because now they know more about me. I don't want them to know more. Okay? I want to show up and keep it a little mysterious. I don't want them to go call me and say, you know, I changed my mind. Don't come over now. So I don't even give my card at the door if we're setting an appointment. I just say, when's your husband going to be home later? Let's say it's a one-legger or your wife. I'll come back. Don't leave my card. Okay? Some of you might disagree with me. I'm just telling you what I do. Okay? It works for me. It has worked, and made literally millions of dollars doing it. So apologize. Always apologize. You know, I mentioned about the no phone number, apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I might have called you, you know, and so I'm apologizing, but also kind of putting it on them a little bit. Apologies always work. You know, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Johnson, I didn't call first. If there's a phone number on there, I'm so sorry I didn't call first. But, you know, I was just in the neighborhood meeting your neighbors, and they were around the corner here, and I saw you were close by. I want to stop over and get this information to you. It just takes about 10 minutes. Boom, in the door, okay? That's a great way to defuse the, why didn't you call me first? I was in the area, you know? Whatever you want to come up with, but that works really well for me, okay? I also like to say, boy, I got so many people in Columbus to see right now. It seems like everybody in town is sending these cards back in. I'm just trying to get the information out to them, you know? Boom, buried with people to see. People want to do what everybody else is doing. If it's popular, they want to go do it too, okay? So keep that in mind. Make it popular. It's the thing to do right now. Everyone's doing it. I mentioned apologize already. I mentioned everybody's doing it already. I mean, these are some powerful tips, guys, if you learn to utilize them properly. Fall back on the, I just have to get you the information, okay? You know, if they say something like, well, are you going to sell me insurance? And I like to diffuse that with, you know, Mr. Johnson, my job is just to get you the information, and then I'll leave you the brochures and information on the plans that are available to you, and you can always make a decision, later send me information, send me the information back or make a decision down the road, but I'm just here to drop it off today. Something along those lines. Basically, diffuse it by not answering it. You know, I'm not going to say, yeah, we're going to work on a presentation for 30 minutes, and then we're going to attempt to ask you the hard-hitting questions and then see if you're going to buy. You know, we're not going to get into that. Okay, but some people will say, well, yeah, they sheepishly try to say, yeah, well, you might want to buy from me today if, you're already dead on arrival. Okay? Come up with something better to step around it. Very important, okay? Because there again, you might say, well, Tone, I'm pretty good. I only missed a couple of these. What if those couple were $2,000 a week? What if that $2,000 a week puts you into $5,000 every week consistently? What if I could tell you that this is the difference in going from $3,000 a week consistently to $5 or $6 a week consistently? Because I believe it is. I really believe it is. Listen, a lot of what we talk about is just basics of selling, learning to master this information, learning how to read people. And there's a lot here, but you've got to learn how to read them at the door and how to get in and how to use that lead to your advantage. Okay? Shoot, we even use the lead to our advantage when we're running the tee. Let me talk about that real quick. So let's say you have a lead in your hand, you're door knocking. Your client isn't home or your potential prospect is not home. What could you do? Well, maybe you see the neighbor's doors open. You run next door and you say, hey, do you know Miss Betty? I thought she was going to be home today and I didn't see her. I'm the insurance man. But I go with it, Oh, no, she's not home. Well, did you get your card, by the way? I'm the benefit coordinator for the area. I wanted to make sure you got your information. I was just here to drop hers off today, but, I saw your door was open, wanted to make sure you got it, and also ask if you had seen her today. Boom. Oh, no. You'd be shocked how many times they'll let you in because you've got a warm intro. In their mind, you're coming to see the neighbor, so you must be good. They'll let you in. I've made many deals that way, and I know our agents have made many deals that way. So a lead is not just for the person you're going to see. It can also be for people around the home. A lot of you say, well, Tone, that's aggressive. Listen, I'm not the one putting food on the table for your kids. I'm telling you what works. All right? There is such an amount of money to be made in this business just by seeing people. This is why when people tell me, man, I'm broke, I don't have any leads, I'm struggling, blah, 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 I'm like, you do realize you can walk down the street in any neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, and I'll use Charlotte too, since we're talking, a lot of the team is in the South. I'll say Charlotte or Columbus, you'll walk down the street, and I could find a neighborhood and start banging on doors. Hey, I'm local benefits coordinator, insurance man, I need to get you the information. It's available to you today, blah, blah, blah. Come up with a catchy script, and I'm in the door, man. I'm going to get hung up or doors shut on my face quite a bit, guaranteed. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think in 5 days Tony Sax could write $2,000, maybe $3,000 in premium with 0 leads? I guarantee it. In fact, I might even be able to do $4,000 because there's going to be days you're going to get a referral. Whole family's going to be there. Want to buy insurance. You might do $3,000, $4,000 in one house. Leads make our job easier. But old school, man, they used to just walk down the street, and then I'd be if I was talking old school, right, I'd say, how many doors you bang on this week? How many people you talk to? How many relationships did you build? It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to find a way to sell. Another topic for another day, but I thought I'd throw it out there because leads, there's so much money to be made on the lead. It's easier, man. You don't know how much easier we have it today than a lot of agents before us have not had it. They had to literally just build relationships and talk to people walking down the street. Very, very difficult way to do it compared to what we have. All right, so one thing you could also mention is limited time. These programs are limited time. Last year, we saw quite a few final expense programs go away. For those of you that are new, none of our clients that were placed in those plans lost anything or lost their coverage. But from time to time, carriers will choose to change their program. Foresters is a great example of this. 7, 8 years ago, I've got hundreds and hundreds of Foresters policies. I can show you on Dropbox. The application is different than the application we have today. Very simple app, especially on diabetes. Foresters realized they were losing money. We used to be able to get people with Foresters we cannot get today. There's no way they would take them. So it is limited time. Things do change. Carriers tighten up their apps. We're always looking for the best and greatest products for you guys because we want to make sure we've got something available for everyone if possible. But you need to have that sense of urgency. Don't just think, oh, yeah, well, they can call me anytime they want. No, they can't. And if you have that attitude, your client will have that attitude. You got to have that sensing, like, Mrs. Johnson, let me get with you here on this, because I'll tell you, these are limited time programs. I'm not sure how long they're going to be available. I want to make sure we get them to you before, your birthday. If you look on the lead card and see it's coming up, or before the end of the year. Man, end of the year, beginning of the year, very, very powerful times to sell. You can utilize that stuff. Don't just walk in there with the same presentation. Customize a little bit. All right, everyone's doing it. I mentioned that one already. My boss is going to kill me. People listen, you want to be blue collar. I don't care if you're making, listen, I'll use Scott as an example because he probably makes more money than anybody else on the call and does very well. But I guarantee you when he's coming up on Mrs. Johnson, he's going to act blue collar. He's going to act, Mrs. Johnson, I'm just trying to feed my family, Whatever you want to think about it, but it doesn't matter how much money you make. You need to go at it like, my boss is going to kill me if I don't give this information to you. You want to be a part of them. A lot of our clients are just blue-collar, working-class folks, man. I remember I called a guy one time who was having a barbecue, and he just said, we're already good, buddy. We bought something already. And I said, look, it would really help me out, and I would get credit if I can come talk to you. I said, could I just come talk to you? It'll help me out. He said, all right, man. He's like, that sounds good, no biggie. He wanted to help me out because he liked me just on our phone conversation. That was back when I set a lot of appointments. And so I went out to see him, wrote him and his girlfriend. They're good. Didn't matter. I didn't try to close him on the phone. Didn't try to tell him I was going to be better. Didn't try to tell him I was cheaper. I just said, can you help me out, man? It would help me if I could at least talk to you. I did what I needed to get in the door. Guys, that is all it takes, and then your strength is in the home, okay? Just like you builders. Listen, you can tell people till you're blue in the face, this business is great, insurance is awesome, you'll make tons of money. That's like selling at the door. Great, tell them all that stuff, but get them in your car. Listen, when I'm field training people, that is the strength. You can tell them all day long, you can make $1,000 a day, but you show them $1,000 a day, they're like, oh my gosh, all we did was talk to people today. I could do this. We get a little sidetracked here, but if you want to build a team, put people in your car. Stop calling and trying to convince them that it's a great opportunity. Get them in the car. Show them the opportunity. I'm telling you, it's the greatest place to do it. All right, we're almost done here. You're not intruding is one of the notes I've got here. And I want to, a lot of times, guys, people are, sheepish because they're like, well, I don't want to intrude. And, Mama taught me to be respectful. And that's true. I was taught to be respectful, too. Open doors for ladies and all that. And I understand that. But let me tell you something. When you get into final expense insurance, you got to understand it's okay to be a little intrusive. It's okay to, I'm cooking right now. That's all right. I'll come in and just sit while you're cooking. Sold a $69 Aetna policy to a lady with congestive heart failure in Indianapolis, Indiana. She was cooking for Thanksgiving. I remember it like it was yesterday. Sat there the whole time, did the whole presentation in the kitchen while she was cooking. Had a great time, wrote a policy, okay? First objection I got at the door was, it's a bad time, I'm cooking right now. I didn't care. You know why? I had goals to hit that week. Do you understand me? I have 6 children. My wife stays at home with them. There's no middle ground for me. It's like either do or die. I don't know if that's why I'm successful or not, but I'll tell you, it certainly does help. It pushes you to do things a little differently, okay? Push me to get it done. Got that one done. So don't worry about being intrusive. They're probably watching TV anyways, okay? If they're like, I'm not dressed right now. I'm just getting up. Oh, it's okay, Mrs. Johnson. I'll just wait out here on the porch while you're getting ready. I got to drop this information off to you. And I'm just waiting, man. Unless they tell me to leave, like physically, you got to go. I'm waiting, okay? I'm waiting. Made many a sales like that. A lot of people are too quick to, I can come back another time. Well, you can come back, but you may not make any money because now they know who you are. They've got their guard up. A lot of things, okay? Keep that in mind. All right. The leads for the whole family. So just an emphasis on trying to get everyone in the home, anyone, family, friends that are there, neighbors. Emphasize the state-regulated programs when you're at the door or talking with them. And make sure you always project yourself as, I'm out here helping seniors. I'm a benefit coordinator. Do not project yourself as, I'm here to sell you something. One of the agents I was talking to a few weeks ago was actually saying, we sell people. I said, stop saying that. Stop telling the client I sold someone yesterday. Say, I had the opportunity to help a family or benefit some families last week, or, man, I benefited 4 families last week. Don't say we sold this person, or last week I sold a lady here. That's just bad. That's just bad, okay? So focus on the positive. It just sounds better when you're talking to folks. So, guys, I hope you got something out of that. Listen, this is just selling 101. If you're struggling and you need to get better, go back and listen through, because this is the stuff that made me great. This is the stuff my mentors originally taught me. Tone, this is how you do it. This is what you say. This is what you don't say. Some of it was trial and error, just learning, okay? Just learning my own style as well. And I think when you become great, you take a little bit of Tony Sax, you take a little bit of Tom Mitchell, a little bit of Scott Grizzle, a little bit about Trina Tillman, you put it all together, okay, and you create whoever you're going to be, because you are your own person. The biggest thing I want you to understand is you've got to think about these things, how to say them, what to say, what's going to work, what doesn't work. Don't just do the same thing over and over again if it's not working. Change it up.